I just saw a video that just bothered my whole soul. For all the parents out there, please stop trying to be the cool parent all the time. Check and see what your kids are doing on their phone. I just saw a story just now about this 12-year-old girl who had been talking to this grown man. This man ended up unaliving this girl. They met up before. Apparently he had tried to do something to her, and she basically said, I don't want to meet up with you anymore. So he ended up essaying her. Somehow he got photos of her. I don't know if he took them or she sent photos to him, but he had photos of her body as a 12-year-old girl. He's 24 years old and has these photos of her. Apparently he threatened her and was like, if you don't meet up with me again, then I'm going to expose these photos. All your friends are going to see how you look. And apparently she had some like body issues that she wasn't comfortable with. So she meets up with this man again. He literally takes her, unalives her, and burns the phone like completely. So I just feel like my heart just hurts because I feel like stories like that I hear all the time. My mom, when she used to be like, I ain't one of your little friends, like I'm truly grateful that she was like that as a parent when I was younger. Yes, was she strict? Yes, was I like, my mom won't let me do nothing? But at the end of the day, I feel like she really prevented things like that. Like I had legit fear of my mom when I was younger. Like, I'm not about to go meet up with people. I'm not about to go do that. She wouldn't let me go to sleepovers at nobody's house and nothing like that. So I feel like parents, please go through your kids' phones and give them the attention and energy that they need, because I promise you there are predators out here and they're hiding in plain sight. They're on these social media apps. I had a girl come into my TikTok live that was 10 years old asking to be my friend. I'm like, girl, you are 10. You can't be my friend. Respectfully, like, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting me. But I'm a grown woman. I'm not going to have a friend that is 10 years old. I don't even know, like, if her mom knew that she was on this app. I don't know if she's on any other apps, but people, especially kids, they are looking for some type of community. If they don't have, like, a lot of friends in school, if they don't have a lot of people that they speak to, people are predators and they will really prey on your kids not knowing. People are literally like trying to meet up with children as grown adults. So please, parents, I don't care if it makes you look crazy, please step in and check your kids' phones, see who they're talking to, and allow your kids to have a safe space to speak. That's one thing that my mom instilled so much fear in me that I also felt like when I was growing up, I couldn't really talk to her about certain things. And I feel like it's balance, like creating a strict environment, but also creating a space to where you are allowing your kid to speak freely to you, because I'm sure her parents didn't know what was going on until after she was unalived and they went through her phone. So please, parents, I don't know who that was for. Like, my heart hurts so bad for this girl. If I can find the original story, I'm going to post it. I just literally saw it pop up on my TikTok and it just triggered me and bothered me so badly, because I know that there's so many parents that just give their kids their phone and they just let them go about their day. They don't know who their friends are. They don't know who they're talking to. They don't know what apps they're on. None of that. So parents, please, 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 please check in on your kids and see who they're talking to and what they're doing, because it could really end in something horrible if you don't.
So I was sitting here thinking about college, and I want to give you guys a story time about how my friend committed murder and got away with it. The year is 2008. I'm just joining college. My sister's my roommate. In the hall, people would write their names on their doors, and I always thought her name was very interesting. Her name was Zena. Can't remember how we became friends, but we became friends. She did my hair. I would do her hair. She would do my hair in these ghetto ass styles. I'm gonna show y'all some pictures. And I would do her hair. I would be in her room all the time. She'd be in my room. She had a car. Me and my sister did not. So she would take us to the store, things of that sort. The first time I ever went to like a kickback in the city with like locals and stuff was with her. We'd be in these really unsafe situations, drinking a lot. It was the first time I drank black gin. It was with her. And I remember she would drink heavily, like blackout drink. But everybody drank. So it was like, okay. So we kept in contact, but for the next semester, she ended up leaving school. But we would still, of course, stay in contact. But come to find out, she had a baby. Okay. I knew who she had the baby by. I knew she didn't really, like, get along with him after the baby based off of conversations we had. But whatever. After the baby, she was struggling, going through it. She had went into kind of spiraled, was having, like, drug issues, drinking. She was kind of, like, escorting, prostituting, things of that sort. She ends up getting diagnosed with depression and schizophrenia. She gets her medication and she moves away. She has a 1-year-old son at this time. The dad said he saw his son Thanksgiving of 2011, and that was the last time he saw him. Zena ends up going missing. Mom puts out a missing persons report. A few days later, there is a report of a single vehicle crash, and it's Zena. They're excited because they're like, we found Zena and the baby. They get to the scene. Zena's there. The baby is not. They ask Zena, where is the baby? And she's like, I don't have kids. They're like, oh, ma'am, yes, you do. And she's like, oh, yeah, you're right. He's with his dad. They check that story out. Doesn't check out. She says, oh, he's with friends or whatnot. They check those stories out. No. So since she couldn't produce this child, they ended up locking her up for child neglect. Based off of, I guess the investigation, they figured this baby's probably dead. So they pull in cadaver dogs. Cadaver dogs immediately pick up on human remains in her backseat in her trunk. They also find shovel, a bloody baby blanket, and other materials that test positive for DNA. Blood, everything tests positive. So they assume or presume that the poor baby's dead. They ended up locking her up for unlawful conduct towards a child because they could never produce his body. They sentenced her to 10 years. She does 4 years, ends up having a baby in jail, gets out, and she got away with it. She got a fucking way with it.
Okay, let's do a quick little story time before I get ready to go out. So, a lot of y'all wanted to know about the attempted murder charge. Here we go. Okay, so my son's dad, who was my first boyfriend, my first everything or whatever, we was together, and in the midst of us being together, he was going between like me and another girl. It sounds bad, but it's terrible. It's so bad to the point that he broke up with me when I was pregnant in my apartment. And I remember him coming to the house and telling me that he's sorry and that he's leaving. And he took the TV off the wall and left. A couple days later, he got stopped by the police and he was on house arrest. See how karma worked? But anyway, while he was on house arrest or whatever, I would drop my baby off to him and stuff. And his girlfriend would be there. And I remember one day when I was going to pick my baby up, she was like, you think I want your baby? I don't care. I have my own baby. I guess that was her way of letting me know that she was pregnant or whatever, which is fine. So along the line, towards the end of her pregnancy, of course, he comes back home to me now. But I guess he's still like in between us or whatever. It was just like a lot of back and forth. Like me and the girl had already fought. One day I came home and she was sitting on my couch and I went in the room, came back out and fought her. But anyway, this particular day I was at home one night. Me and my baby daddy was arguing. He would like always take my car and like go do whatever. So he had my car this day, right? The girl was like almost 9 months pregnant and she was calling, looking for him. I guess she couldn't find him. Me and her would be like arguing like, oh, fuck you, da 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 da. So I'm at home and next thing I know, the doorbell rings, right? So I had a roommate. So when the doorbell rings, I go to the door, and when I go to the door, it was some girl that I never seen before. Her name was L'Oreal. I never seen her before, and she knocked on the door and she was like, is Cody home? Mind you, Cody is my man. So I'm like, who are you? And she was like, oh, I'm his cousin. Mind you, bitch, I know all his family. You're not his cousin. So I said, you're not his cousin, so what's up? She was like, oh, you want to fight such and such? We gonna call the girl such and such. You want to fight such and such, but she's pregnant. I'm not gonna let you fight her, so step outside. So me, I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna step outside. So when I step outside, y'all, like the way we used to park is like, you know how you park like on the side of the grass in front of a house? It was like that. When I stepped outside, 3 more girls came from behind the car, right?
My little brother stabbed my little sister, who was his twin, to death in the middle of the night. And he said he was sleepwalking, and we believe him. So my mom, Michael and Kathy, they raised us 3 kids in Texas, and we had such an idyllic and happy life. I'm older than they are. They are the younger twins, and at the time of this incident, they were 17. Now, Megan, she was so sweet. She was introverted. She was shy. She loved to read. She was incredibly intelligent and intuitive and such a wonderful girl. Now, they lived at home with my parents. I was a little older, so I wasn't living at the home anymore. And in the middle of the night, first responders get a call from my brother, and his voice sounds terrified. And he's saying, I had a realistic dream that I was stabbing my sister, and I woke up and it's real, like I stabbed her. And one of the saddest things about this is the knife ended up in her neck. And not knowing any better, trying to help her, he removed it quickly, and it was in her carotid artery, and that caused her to lose so much red bodily fluid that her life was over very quickly from this. And so here he is, he's calling 911, he's doing CPR the best that he can. My father hears, he runs into the room, he tries to help. My mom, who's been asleep for a long time at this point because it's the middle of the night, she doesn't hear anything until the police come running in through the door. And she's trying to get back there and figure out what happened, but they won't let her in. And so they're just out there not knowing what's happened. My brother has been led away in handcuffs because he openly admitted that he stabbed my sister. And so they are in a state of shock and panic, and so is he. And so they get him to the interrogation room, and he begins to tell them that, you know, it was like the most realistic nightmare that you could ever have, that he woke up after doing this and realized that it was happening in real life. So he was arrested and he went to trial for this. Now, he has a history of sleepwalking. Everyone in the family has their own stories about him sleepwalking. Well, one piece of evidence that they had was that they say you cannot dream while you're sleepwalking, that you have to be in REM sleep, so that it's impossible to be dreaming while you're sleepwalking. But what are you thinking if you're sleepwalking? I mean, you have to be in some state of consciousness, right? During the trial, they also talked about how my dad, Michael, had this tactical knife that he would show to my brother, Ben. And Ben showed a really strong interest in that knife. It was also said at trial that he was enamored with this knife, and the people prosecuting him made it seem like he had a fixation with it. It was this tactical knife that was used during the attack, like he would get some sort of pleasure from using it. The trial went on and the jury found him guilty of murder, but they sentenced him to only 15 years, which he'll only have to do half of that if he has good behavior. So he'll be 36 potentially at the time of his release if he gets parole. And although this is a true story, this is not my personal story. But when you heard it was my brother who killed his twin sister, it was real to you. So often people in these events don't seem real to us, but they are. And Megan was a real girl who will be missed every day by her loved ones.